Hello student, we go over S4, so radical equation. Okay, so now you have square root of C equal 10. So you want to solve for the C, you don't want the square root. So very simple, you power 2 on both sides because square root and power 2 cancel out. Okay, why is that? Okay, square root, okay, C, square root of C is actually C power 1/2. So if you don't want the square root, so you should power 2, okay, so you power 2, and you can see 1/2 times 2, that's a number, become number 1. So if you don't want the square root anymore, you should power 2. Okay? So let's clear this out. Let's do it one more time. So you should power 2 right here. So you power 2. Make sure you power 2 on both sides. Okay? So you can see the left side come out C, and the right side is 10 power 2, which is 100. Okay? So the answer is 100. 100. Okay, so here we go, 100. Submit. Okay, same thing over here. So I would power 2 on both sides. Okay, so power 2 on both sides. So here we go. So you come out C equal 1 over 12 power 2. But 1 over 12 power 2, it means 1 over 12 times 1 over 12. 12 times 12, that's a 144. Okay, so the answer should be 1 over 144. Okay, but let's take a look. Let's take a look at the solution over here. They're going to explain to you the same way. Okay, so here we go. Take a look at this. Okay, give me a second over here. All right, see, they do the same thing over here. You see that? Power 2, okay. But 1 over 12 power 2, that's 144, okay. So let's try the next problem. Same thing here. So square root of Z. So if you don't want the square root, you power 2 on both sides, okay. So we come out 18 square should be equal Z. And 18 square is that, hold on, let me get a calculator. 18 square, 324. Okay, so 324 should be the answer, 324. So I go to the box, I put 324. 324. Submit, voila. The next problem, I will do the same, okay? I power 2 on both sides, okay? So I come out 1.2 power 2 equal T. 1.2 power 2, that if you have 12 squared, that's a 144. So the 0.2 times 0.2, so the answer should be 1.44. T equal 1.44. 1.44. Voila. Okay. So now you can see the radical part is the only thing on the left side. So all you need to do is power 2 on both sides and then you're done. Okay. So you can see the left side, you come out Z plus 9. But the right side is A squared, which is 64. But take a look at this. You want to solve for Z, you still have number 9 over here, so you don't want number 9, you subtract 9 on both sides, okay? So you come out Z equals 64 subtract 9, is that become 55? So the answer is Z equals 55. 55. Okay, voila. For this problem, you can see the radical is the only thing on the right side, so you just power 2 on both sides, okay? So now the left side, 4 squared, that's a 16. The right side, the square root and power 2 cancel out. You have only m subtract 7, okay? Remember, we solve for m's, all right? We don't want subtract 7, so you plus 7 on both sides. So you come 23 on the left side, and then m is the right side. So the final answer is m equal 23. All right. Ooh, look at this problem. Here's the next level. You can see you try to solve for b, but b inside is square root. All right. So I want to power 2, but I need to isolate the square root b first. Okay. So your first step, make sure you isolate the radical. Okay, so let's do that part. So it means that you don't want negative 11, so you add 11 on both sides. Okay, so you come out square root of b on the left side, negative 11 plus 11, that's cancel out. So on the right side you have plus 4. Okay, so now you ready for step number 2. Okay, the step number 2 is power 2, or you can call square, on both sides. Okay, so let's do it. Power 2 right here. So you come out b equal 4 squared, which is 16. So the answer is b equals 16. Voila. Okay, so this next problem, the radical is the only thing on the right side, so you just go ahead and power 2 on both sides. Okay, so now the left side, 20 squared, that's a 400. The right side, the square root and power 2 cancel out, so you got negative 16 and then plus 2a. Okay, so make sure you solve this problem for a. Okay, so first, I don't want negative 16 here, I add 16 on both sides. So I got 416 equal 2a. You're almost done. You just solve for the a, so you don't want number 2, divide 2 on both sides. Okay, so now 416 divided by 2 is 208. And on the right side, 2 simplify with 2, so you have only a left. So the answer is a equal 208. 208. Voila, done. Okay. This problem very similar. Okay. So the radical is the only thing on the right side, so I power 2 on both sides. So now the left side, I got 2 squared, which is number 4. The right side, the square root and power 2 cancel out. I have only negative 18 and then plus p. Remember, we solved for the p's, all right? So the p needs to stand alone. You don't want negative 18, so plus 18 on both sides. Okay, so now 4 plus 18, that's a 22. Okay, so p is the only thing on the right side. These two already cancel out. Okay, so p equals 22. 22 is p. Okay, let's clear this out. Let's go to the next level. Here we go. Similarly, okay, so the radical part, make sure you isolate. So you need to isolate this radical. Okay, so you don't want number 5, you subtract 5 on both sides. Okay, so you come out negative 5 square root of n subtract 11. On the right side, negative 15 with negative 5 become negative 20. Okay, so remember you isolate for the radical, which is this is the part. Okay, so you don't want negative 5, so you divide negative 5 on both sides. Okay, so now you come out at square root of n subtract 11. Negative 20 divided by negative 5, this is positive 4. So now you can see the radical is the only thing on the left side, so you power 2. So now you have n subtract 11 equals 16. So now I add 11 on both sides, so I solve for n, I got n equal 27. Okay, I got n equal 27. Voila. Let's go to the next level. Here we go. very similar. So let me maybe I try one more level. Okay, now you got the square root on both sides. So this is quite easy. I just power 2 on both sides. Okay, so you can see both sides the square root and power 2 cancel out. So I have, you can write right underneath here, 3q plus 4 on the left side, and then 4q on the right side. Okay, so you got q and q on both sides. You need to eliminate one side, so I would eliminate 3q. So subtract 3q on both sides. So now I have only number 4 on the left side and then 1q on the right side. So this is the answer, q equals 4. So I put in the box, q equals 4, and then I'm done. Voila. The next problem, very similar. Okay, so here we go. I did power 2 on both sides. Okay, so now the left side is number 10 subtract 5f, which is inside the square root, but then the square root and power 2 cancel out. On the right side, inside the square root is subtract 10f. Okay, so now you got f on both sides. I would eliminate one of them. Take a look at negative 5 and negative 10. So negative 10 is smaller. I would eliminate negative 10f by adding 10f on both sides. Okay, so now I got number 10 and then plus 5f equals 0. All right. Remember we try to solve for the f, is that right? We solve for the f. So we don't want number 10 here. Subtract 10 on both sides. Okay, so now you come out at 5f equal negative 10. Okay, we're almost done. Just divide 5 on both sides, so you come out f equal negative 2. All right, f equal negative 2 is the answer. Voila. Okay, thank you so much for your attention. So make sure you do 2 steps. The first step is isolate the radical or the square root, okay, if you have to. And then the second step, you square on both sides, okay, or power 2 on both sides. Okay, voila. Thank you so much. Bye bye.